Hey guys, today we're going to be showing you how to install an electronic trailer brake controller inside your Nissan Pathfinder. This is part 3 of a 3-video series where we've installed the trailer hitch, the electronics, as well as a brake controller in a collaboration with KDM Kurt and DIY Collaborative. Make sure to check out their channels and subscribe for some of their content. Inside the kit, you're going to have the brake controller module, and that's going to mount up inside underneath the dash, so you don't have to kick it or hit it with your knees. There will be a little dial that we'll install onto one of my open buttonholes right here. The wiring that goes from the dial to the brake controller. And then we have the harness here that hooks in specific based off of our model. So I've got a Nissan Pathfinder. It's going to hook into the brake controller and then go into the pre-installed wiring that's underneath there already. So this is the view underneath all of the steering wheel and the control panels and everything. I'm just above the pedals. And you can see right here, there's this white tape, and then there's some white foam holding the connector that we're going to use to patch into for the brake controller. All right, you can see the white plug right here. This is after I removed it from the white tape. I took like a little straight razor and just did a little slice there to loosen the tape. And then there's some yellow foam up there that's also wrapping around it. Something else here that you'll notice is this is an exposed plug. Right here is what was on top of it. So it was actually engaged with another harness here. I went ahead and undid that. I just needed to push a little bit with my finger and it popped right off. And now we're gonna take our wiring that we have with our kit and we're gonna just connect it right here. Here's the wiring connected, and we're gonna get that fastened back up into there using some zip ties once we fully install the other end of this cable to the brake controller itself. So in order to get our dial installed properly, we're gonna remove some of this paneling in order to get to these accessory button holes that we're not currently using. So the first thing we did was we pried off this side panel. It comes right off and there's just plastic clips here. Then we also removed the fuse box compartment door right here. It just pulled right off and it's got a little section for your fingers. We started to pull down on this a little bit so it's loose, and we noticed there's one Phillips head screw right here. So we're gonna remove that. And once we remove this one, it should give us a lot easier access to get behind these buttons. So behind each row of buttons, there's a rail that's holding all 4 of them in place, and there are 2 screws, one on either side, that you'll have to remove in order to loosen it and be able to access those buttons. So to get even better access, we just went ahead and pulled out the tow mode buttons connector here. It was connected right here and it just released by just pressing on the little tab here. And then we removed the wiring harness that was connected onto the side of the bracket as well. So to get the dial installed within one of the accessory holes, we're gonna drill a hole in the very center and then a smaller hole up above in order for this to fit through the back end. We noticed after uninstalling it that there's a little framework back there for stability for the plastic. So we're gonna drill through this, and then we're gonna use some scissors or some other sharp edge in order to kind of clean it out, so that when we insert this inside, we wanna make sure that we don't have anything resisting that. So while we've got the panel pulled down and we have better accessibility to everything behind here, I've taken this opportunity to mount the controller here to this metal panel that's holding together all of the dash. I'm doing it with zip ties, and you'll see even though it's upside down, the orientation doesn't matter for the unit as long as it is gonna maintain a stable position because when you're braking, it's taking into account its orientation within the location of your vehicle. You don't want to mount it to any cables or anything that'll cause it to bounce. That'll cause a lot of the calibration to have some issues. So I'm just going to zip tie this in right here, get it nice and snug, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect in our wire that we hooked into the wiring harness that was already inside the vehicle. After we've secured the wiring that goes into the vehicle, I did that with a couple of zip ties. You're going to want to connect the, it's almost like a Cat 5 cable. I've got the L one, the one at a right angle, plugged in right here into the brake controller. And this other end, this is going to plug in to the back of the dial once we get that installed right here on the control panel. Once you've drilled your hole and made all of the different adjustments to the button accessory, we've got it installed here, and you can see here it is. It's got the little dial that you can adjust. It's on the 0 setting. You want to make sure that it's still got the capability to be pushed. On the back there, that's where you're going to do your connection. It kind of looks like a Cat 5. So you'll have the other end of it and it'll just click in right there. And you'll want to make sure you do that after you have it all refastened in here with all those screws that we took out. And don't forget to do your tow mode button as well that we unhooked. All right, once you get all the panels back on, you can check to make sure that it's wired properly by pushing on the button. You'll be able to see that blue LED light. Every time you have a new trailer or anything that you're hauling behind you, you want to make sure that you calibrate this based off of how much intensity you want those brakes to apply whenever you're hauling those things. So that's it. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. This was a great 3-part series in collaboration with KDM Kurt and DIY Collaborative. Make sure to check out their channels. But if you like videos like this, hit that subscribe button for more content. Thanks.